Hi there. My name is Jay. I'm with the IELTS Online department in Coralville. And first, I just really want to say that I appreciate all of you having me on this call today. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to what I have to say. Um, Now, I do have a grievance that I regard to be very important. But before I get into that, I want to cover kind of a logical basis, a law of efficiency that provides uh, some background to why I think it's important to have this discussion. That is the 80-20 principle. It's a law of efficiency that basically states that 20% of causes have 80% of the effect. So if you have a problem, there are generally going to be a few aspects of whatever system you're using, whatever would be causing that problem. So I'm going to address some of those here today. My issue is with the ShopperKit software, specifically our auditing function. Now, that's what we use when Instacart shoppers shop around. They get somebody's order and then they come here. We got to check it right in our back room, and so they'll come by and well. First problem is I try to boot up the scanner and it takes about 10 seconds to come online. It's a ridiculous delay, 10 to 15 seconds that you're just standing there. It's really unnecessary and I think could be easily fixed. Another one is in about 1 in 10 audits, I would say there's an issue where you have a crash. And so that essentially doubles the time of the audit, and you need to basically turn around, scan everything again, and it's very inconvenient. It causes some friction between you and the shopper. It's not good. Uh, Thirdly, adding items is not possible within the auditing app, within the tab itself. You have to exit and cancel out the entire thing. I think it's an easy fix, and we should really, address that with ShopperKit. And finally, uh, we are unable to see the items that we're working with. We were unable to see a list per se of what we need to be scanning. So we go in blind essentially, and that results in mistakes, especially given that um, the auditing tab tends to cancel its own efficacy out by uh, not requiring that you scan the last three or four items. Now, rarely is a shopper ever going to miss more than three or four items. So what we essentially do is cancel out the reason for doing this. So we should really address that with ShopperKit too. But before I get ahead to the call to action, of course, negative impacts are wasted man hours, which then in turn costs us money, reduced customer satisfaction when they do have a mix up or it takes longer to receive their order, the friction that I mentioned before with Instacart shoppers, as well as, again, the total monetary cost of it all, which I think is what probably concerns us most. So, interaction, what the action I want to take is to address this with ShopperKit. Now, of course, you might want to see some numbers. You want to see some proof. Well, we're talking probably seconds. I've said it costs us 10 seconds per. It'll double the time of the occasional audit, et cetera, et cetera. Why should we care about that? Now, you're going to be surprised because I have some data here that I crunched some numbers and uh, to start with, these are some examples that I pulled of actual auditing data, and I adjusted them with a simple formula based on the problems that I described. We see from these two a significant reduction in, the amount of seconds it takes us, but if we are just talking seconds, well, then why is it worthwhile? You may have seen these numbers over here and already started to realize, well, it is worthwhile because when you take the number of lost seconds and you extrapolate them to all the stores that we operate over the course of a whole day, with say I estimated 25 audits in a day, um, then it really starts to rack up, per store, 4,600 seconds. It's about 75 minutes a day, just over an hour. Still doesn't sound like a whole lot till you get over here, extrapolate it to all 305 locations. Suddenly that's and you extend it to a year, that's 142,000 man hours in a year that you lose, right? That's a lot. That's a lot just because of these bugs. That's all. That's so I put in man hours, calculated at $15 an hour. That total would cost us $2 million in a year, allowing for one mistake, which I see at least one, possibly two, three per day. with a cost of $10 that it takes to arrange for a DoorDash delivery, which is what we do, uh, per store per year, that's over $1 million as well in cost. So you have $3.25 million that we lose every year just to this. Now I know 12 billion in revenue, right? That's not a whole ton, but that's a lot. And I think it could be easily fixed if we just address these issues with ShopperKit, which I think 3.25 million a year is a good enough reason for that, to try. Okay. So lastly, I just want to share a brief review with you of my data, or of my talking points, I should say. And, you know, so we have the bugs here, the delay, the crashes, you know, the mistakes. We have the waste of man hours that lead to monetary cost. And we also are running into problems, with our customers and with the Instacart shoppers. And I, of course, say that the solution to this is to take consistent and repetitive action against against ShopperKit, so that they will actually listen to our demands and they will fix some of these issues because this has already been going on for about a year. This has already cost us about $3.25 million. So with that, gentlemen and ladies, I appreciate your time and I rest my case. Thank you.